Hi guys, this is Emily Cupelli for the Alleyway Stamps, and for today's card I'll be using the Breakfast Club stamp set. I already die cut a stitch journaling card from black cardstock. Now I am stamping repetitively the coffee bean from the stamp set using my distress embossing ink. Once I have a few beans stamped, I add some clear matte embossing powder from Wow and keep stamping some more beans. This way the ink doesn't dry before I add the powder. After I have all my beans stamped, I'll go ahead and heat emboss it with my heat gun. Then I will stamp this coffee cup in Strathmore watercolor paper using my archival ink in jet black. Now I am adding clean water to the areas I want to color first. Then I will start adding my antique linen distress ink, and I will add more color to the edges, especially to the right and left edge, to make it look rounder, and to the lower edge of the lid to add more dimension. I am also coloring a small heart from my stitch journaling card die set with the same ink. Now I will color the area I want in a darker brown. Again, I will wet the area and then I will add the color. This time I am using tea-dye distress ink. I started adding a thin layer of color and then I will add more color where I want the shadows to create more dimension. This time I am adding the shadows only to the sides of the image. I am blending the ink and leaving the center lighter. If you want even more contrast, you can use a darker brown like vintage photo and add it to the edges. Anyway, I use the same ink for the whole area, and as you can see, the difference between the center and the edges is very noticeable. Now that my antique linen is pretty dry, I am adding more where I want it a bit darker. Also, I will add clean water to the center of the areas I colored with the antique linen to make them a bit lighter. Then I will add my distress ink in black soot to the oval in the center of my cup. I started adding more ink to the edges of it and less to the center, but ended up adding more ink to the whole area because I wanted it darker, since I was going to add the heart to it and wanted more contrast between the black and the antique linen of the heart. Remember that you can use your distress markers, any other watercolor medium, or even your Copics if you prefer. It just happens that I have a lot of distress ink pads and I like the effect I get with them. Also remember that you can visit my blog to see the full list of supplies. After I fussy cut it, I will go all around the edges with my distress marker in black soot. I will glue the heart to the center of my cup using my multi-medium mat. Now I will color the edges of a cream piece of cardstock from American Craft using my distress ink in tea dye and my round blending tool. This will work as a mat on my card. I also cut a mat from Coordination's black cardstock and glue both to the front of a craft card base. Then I will glue my two stitch rectangles on the front of my card. As you can see, I stamped the coffee stains on the craft one using my distress embossing ink, but it is barely noticeable, unlike my Versamark, which dries clear too, but is much more noticeable. The Versamark darkened the cardstock like a watermark, while the distress one dries more to the clear side. For this reason, I decided to stamp the coffee stain again using my archival ink in sepia, right over those I previously stamped with my distress embossing ink. Then I stick the coffee cup to the card using foam adhesive and a wood veneer with the phrase coffee time using my multi-medium mat. Once I finished the card, I wasn't really happy with the position I stamped the ring stains, since they ended up in a diagonal row. So I die cut the journaling card from some cardstock and will use the negative part as a mask to stamp 2 more cycles. I stamped them on the 2 empty corners with the same archival ink in sepia. I also wanted to add some distress ink to the edges, so I will position the mask again and add the tea dye using a sponge dauber. I am using the sponge dauber instead of a round blending tool because I already have all my elements in place and I want to have more control to do not ruin all the work I have done. Anyway, if you do this step before you glue everything together, you should be able to use a blending tool with no problem. I am adding the color in layers until I have the color as dark as I want. Here is my card all finished. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the Alleyway Stamps channel as well as my channel if you are not subscribed yet. Remember to visit both blogs to see the full list of supplies and more close-up pictures. Here are 2 other cards for you to watch where I used a distressed look as well. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!